Hello everyone, this is International Master John Daniel Bryant, and long time no see. I haven't uploaded for a while, but I'm back, and I will be uploading fairly regularly for the foreseeable future. So, here's a game that I played in December 2018 against Michael Lee at the North American Open in Las Vegas. And in this tournament I managed to get my third GM norm, which is very nice. And this was my favorite game of the tournament, so I hope you enjoy. Opened with e4, Sicilian. I played the Alapin. So with d5, he has exploited the fact that I can't attack his queen with knight c3 because my pawn's blocking me. And now, after this, I'm able to choose a different strategy for this knight, as you'll see. Tricky move, knight a3. And the idea is that if he takes this pawn here, then I play knight b5, and I'm threatening knight c7. And if he makes a normal move, like queen d8, I can simply come back. And now the knight that was struggling to find a good square has now found an excellent square on d4 via this sophisticated maneuver. Also, if queen e4 check, it does not help him because I still have the threat of knight d4 and knight c7. Okay, let's move on. So he ended up playing the move queen d8 to preempt all of that stuff, but rather than knight b5, I now have a different strategy, which is to bring the knight to c4, where it stands well, and then, as you'll see, I brought it next to e5. So, if he took this pawn here, I think white is better because this knight is good. It can potentially come to e5, and his knight is hampered from coming to c6 because I could take it and I'd have better pawn structure after that. So, played knight c6, knight ce5, and he made this puzzling move, queen b6, which will make sense if you consider that after c takes d4, I have this move bishop b5. And so the idea of queen b6 was to prevent me from playing this bishop b5 move, which would have been annoying. So queen b6. However, I still could continue with the same type of strategy by playing queen a4, preparing bishop b5 next. And c takes bishop d7. Alright, I'm very happy at this point in the game because I have two bishops, so I should always be better after this. Rook c8, preventing me from messing up his pawn structure. Castles, cd. Here I felt it was good to take with the knight in order to put more pressure on this diagonal. So, for instance, if I take here, he can't take back because I take this knight with check and black is lost. And after a move like a6, after bishop takes c6, again, black is forced to play b takes c6, and black has 3 pawn islands, and white only has 2. So, all else being equal, that means white should have some advantage. Okay, but he didn't do that. He played c takes d4. Oh, sorry. He didn't play a6 here. He played, what was it? a6. Oh, he did play it. Okay. Alright, so I guess I would be better here. Like, the computer would say bishop takes c6 is better for white c, but I had a feeling that it was better just to keep my bishop. I would prefer to just keep my 2 bishop advantage, which is why I played bishop e2. And it led to a very interesting game. So he played knight takes d4, c takes d4, and the idea was to leave me with another pawn island, isolated pawn here. However, as it turns out, he wasn't able to attack this weakness effectively, as you'll see. And that's because white has 2 bishops and black has not yet castled, because if he castled, this knight would be hanging. So d5 is a very strong idea, and the way I came up with this idea is, first of all, I have 2 bishops, so an opening, if I manage to open the position, then that would be favorable for me in general. Secondly, his king is in the center, so that's another reason why opening the position would be favorable for me. So when you understand these types of general ideas, general favorable conditions, then you can come up with a specific way of implementing it, putting theory into practice, so to speak. If he takes this pawn here, then I have bishop g4, putting another attack on this knight, and my next move will be rook e1 check, exploiting his king in the center, and this is just very bad for black. So he played e5. And here, computer mentioned that queen g4 is pretty good here, which would force some position like this. And anytime he takes this pawn, he's opening the position further, and considering that his king is in the center, it's probably not a good idea for him to open up more lines. And he's not able to castle for the moment. This would have been unpleasant. However, I played something else, and I played this move, bishop g5, and I felt I was being very clever. And furthermore, I had a good feeling about it, and that good feeling worked out well for me. The idea of this move was that if he plays h6, for instance, or queen b4 was the move I originally considered, I would be able to counter it with rook c1. And in the event of rook takes c1, rook takes c1, queen takes a4, rook takes c8 is now mate, because the e7 square is covered by my bishop. So that's the idea of bishop g5. Also, if h6, again, I have the same idea of rook c1, and after takes, if he took rook c8 and I win his rook, I'm up material. Okay, but he ended up playing, the best move in fact is h6, according to the computer, and it recommends this rook c1, take, and yeah, I don't know, he wants to play down in exchange, but I don't feel that that's so special for him. Okay, well anyway, f6 was played in the game, and this was not a good move, as you'll see, because I have a very nice way of exploiting it, bishop h5 check. And the idea is that if he plays g6, he's left this pawn undefended, and he can't take back because of the pin. And after something like rook f8, I can play bishop g4, so that I'm ready to take on d7 if he takes my bishop here. So white is just crushing there. Okay. So he had to play king d8, and now my bishops have done their duty. They've accomplished their mission. So time to retreat. And he takes this pawn. Oh, first he went queen b4 to put my queen in a less active position. I don't want to trade queens because that would lessen my ability to take advantage of his weak king position in the center of the board. So I went back, queen d1. Now he takes, g6, pushing my bishop back. Bishop e2. I wouldn't want to play bishop g4, which would let him play f5 with a tempo, and that seems like an improvement for him because, well, there's less ways for me to get into his position, I think, after that. So, bishop b2, queen b2. And queen b2, like I mentioned, is risky because it's opening up the b file for me. So even though I'm down a pawn after this, I have my pieces are so active, and his king is in the center of the board. And the way you got to look at these positions is you got to weigh a pawn against these positional factors. Weak king position, 2 bishops in an open position, active rook, and also it's going to take a while for this rook to get into the game. Meanwhile, my rook is ready to join the fray very quickly once this queen moves. So if you take a quick look, computer analysis, okay, it's plus minus 1 point something. Okay, he played king e7, trying to get this rook into the game. Bishop g4, which is, I think it's kind of cool how my bishops went back and forth like this. If he plays f5 here, not like what he did. If he plays f5, bishop g5 check, exploiting this pin, knight f6 not possible. This would be very bad for him. For instance, after king e8, bishop takes f5, g takes f5, queen h5 check. And black will be mated in a few moves. So he played rook c7, and I take, now queen c1, bringing my queen into the game with a tempo, because not only am I threatening to take this bishop, but I'm threatening to infiltrate his position with queen c6. And after that, it will be very difficult for him to defend anything. So, queen a4, defending against queen c6, and creating a counterattack here against my bishop. So I take, and now I played rook a1.
Check.
Oh, sorry, bishop c5 check, king f7, now rook a1. There was many other ways for me to go about converting this position into a win, but what I did was plenty good enough. And the idea of rook a1, obviously, is to take on a6, and now you'd say, oh wait, John, you're leaving your back rank undefended. But actually, a key thing about this position was that this knight here is defended by this queen, and the queen has limited ways of defending it. So one of the ways it could defend it was the a4 square. So the rook now is covering that a4 square. And after h3, g4, h3, queen f5, g4, the queen would not have any way of defending this knight, and black could resign. So he plays this move, rook b8. And now his idea is that after I push his queen away to f5, then he'll have rook b1 at his disposal, as you'll see. However, I foresaw all this a while ago, and it all ends up working out well for white here. f3, queen f5, g4, and after rook b1 check, king g2, queen c2 check, or rook b2 check. Queen c2 wouldn't help his cause either. Here, king g3, rook a1,
check,
and this is mate.
Checkmate.
So he played rook b2 check, and I smoothly come back with my bishop now. And now you see the problem for black. He can't defend this knight anymore. So he goes for this rook c2 move. This is very interesting, but nothing to worry about. I just sidestep my queen, maintaining the threat on the knight.
Check.
And okay, now he has this queen c2 check, but it doesn't help him that much.
Check.
Move forward with the king. There's no way for him to attack it. And many ways to win here, of course. I thought a queen trade is a clearly winning endgame for me. And after queen d2, queen
Check.
e6 check, king d8, d6, black resigned. In view of queen e7, queen e8, and winning this knight, among many other ways to win. And if he goes queen f4 check,
Check.
king g2, queen d2 check,
Check.
king h1, he's ran out of checks. The game is just about over. So I enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoyed this game as well. Like and subscribe if you like my videos and you want to see more. And I'll see you all later. Peace.